Just do a quick audio check. How's everybody doing? Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome on in. We are back. We're going to paint some more Orc today. I'm still getting set up, so take me just a second here. I should have done this first. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sometimes it's hard to get to the right setting on my iPad. But we got there. All right, so what were we working on? We were working on this bad boy right here. That doesn't do you any good because you'd probably rather see it over here. So we've been working on our orc. We got some skin done. Started working on the leather. Still quite a bit to do. Going to be working on the weapon today. Get that finished up, hopefully. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. We've got, if you missed it, finished this one yesterday. So this one got, on Wednesday. So this model is now complete. And this is the one that we're currently working on. And at the suggestion, I think it was girl painting, I did go ahead and get... I'm trying it again. I'm trying the handle again. One of many times in my life I've used a painting handle. We'll see if it sticks this time. How are your Fridays going? Hope you all are having a good day. Let's see. I'm going to start with some details on his boots. And to do that, we're going to do mahogany. And we're going to do orange oxide. And what was the other one? Oh, dark shadow flesh. I was watching some videos. I said on the last stream that I wanted to do leather a little bit better. I feel like it's been one of my weaknesses in my painting skill set. So I watched some videos. I actually went back and redid her bag a little bit. Or sorry, her book that's on her back there. I think that's starting to look better. It's still not quite where I want it to be, but it's close. And then I started adding some details to his belt as well. Hopefully you can see that okay. Still quite a bit of work to do on that belt, but it is starting to look more like leather, so happy with that. All right, put on my +10 goggles of seeing, and you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just go for it and start with the mahogany. Even though we've already got a base coat, that's okay. Thin it down just a bit. So I'm gonna be working. He's got kind of, I don't know. They look like greaves, I guess, on his lower leg. So we're gonna be working on those today. My goal is to just have him stand out from the rest of his boots. Sometimes it's really hard to see when you're working on a 3D surface where everything should go. I need to get some brushes that are in a little better shape. My brushes are not wanting to hold a fine point as well anymore. Choosing to paint this thing on these straps as like one strap. You kind of interpret them a couple of different ways. Like you could interpret them as like a lace, like a thong of some sort. I'm choosing to interpret it as just one very deep strap. That's always one thing to remember when you're painting stuff like this is, you know, you're the artist, you get to interpret stuff. Trying to just leave some of the underneath alone so we get a little variation. Right, and then I skipped a value, so that's okay. We're just gonna go straight. Straight into the orange. Do a little bit of stippling. Might have to go pick up some new brushes here soon. I mean, I have had this forever. I can't actually remember when I purchased a Citadel brush last. It's been that long. And just keep building up layers so that you start to get more like that. And you start to see the variety there, the striations. I think I'm using that word right. And then from there, we're going to actually add... I want to go one, maybe some tan flesh. That's a good color. I want to go like one value higher here. So we're going to mix that with a little bit of that orange we just had. And we'll add some more little scratches and little highlights. We'll smooth that out just a little bit. But yeah, I think that looks good. I like that. I might go ahead and just do the same on his feet. Because he seems to be wearing, I don't know if you can see him, he's got like some toe protectors, like he's wearing steel-toed boots or something, I don't know. Leather-toed boots. As opposed to toed leather boots. Okay. Let's try to follow the directions properly this time. Although I actually liked how the other color came out, so I think we're fine. Like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. There's lots of different colors of leather. Mostly I was just trying to follow some tutorial stuff I had watched online. This tutorial was specifically from Pro Acryl, who I tend to use their paints most often. Not the only paints I use, but they are one of my favorites. They're very pigment rich, which means you can thin them out and still get a pretty good coverage. And I know that there's a big thing for doing too thin coats. But if you can do the same amount of work with one thin coat, why would you do two? That's my philosophy. You do have to be careful though, because it can be a little thick. Try to zoom in a little more there for you. All right, now we're going to go pure orange oxide. And this is mostly going to be stippling, look like little scratches and creases. Really common in worn leather. Right, so now the highlights. Some little scratches while we're at it. Okay. So let's see. Feet. That would be good. I need like one minor change to my setup here, and this would all work better. All right, so happy with those. I kind of like where his belt's at. I don't feel like a lot of need to do a lot more on that. There's probably a few details I could do. Oh, you know what? One of the next ones we should do is this whole... So that's this thing. I still can't quite tell. I think that's supposed to be all the knife handle there. I still don't know what that is. It looks like a wooden handle. Just highlight like stitches and stuff. Like that last one. So I have more leather belt to do there, and then his pouch thing looks like maybe leather with like metal reinforcements on either side, so I think we'll do that. Then I've got some red that I want to do. You know, let's do this. It's about time. There's these armor pieces. On his shoulders we need to address. And in retrospect, these should have been done before I did the horns, but if I mess anything up, it'll be easy enough to fix. Got another one right here. And then we've also got these straps that are kind of attaching this to him, so we'll paint those while we're in here. Gonna get plenty of practice painting leather on this dude. Something going on in his arm here. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm gonna give it at least a little bit of leather to push it back to the background. Make it a little less obvious, if nothing else. Okay. Add a little more detail to that leather and that'll be done. Go ahead and do the leather part of his gauntlets now. I see some little like white spots around like his fingers. Those will get cleaned up when we do the final pass on the model. Well, in fact, actually looking in there, I see some skin I missed. It's really easy to do when you're painting assembled models like I am. go look and then realize there's like this whole chunk of the model that your eyes just didn't see during the first pass. It's why for me, especially when I'm finishing a model, I end up with paint all over my desk, like just different paint pots pulled out. Because I suddenly just start going back and forth, like finishing up all the things that got missed. And then you mess up and get it on something you already finished, so you just erase it with some water really quick. He's starting to come together. Just gonna get all these straps from his gauntlets. Just keep finding little spots that I missed, so cleaning those up as we go. All right. Like that. I think I'm going to darken down his sheath here really quick. We'll just do a little Agrax Earthshade. Add a little shade around his pants while I'm at it. Oh yeah, while I was doing that other stuff, I noticed I missed some of his neck. I'm gonna fix that really quick, or I will forget. Yeah, I don't really care if you can see, like, I don't even know if I'll add a highlight color to it, but maybe, we'll find, we'll decide here at some point. Okay, so I'm liking all of that. I need to finish up his belt now. Probably need to invest a little more effort into that big belt around his waist. Or finish the gauntlets, one of the two. Maybe we'll go with finish the gauntlets since I've got all the paint on the table right now. And we're just a little bit glazy on this paint, so glaze just means that I'm running pretty much more water than you might normally want. And then just wick the excess off before you touch the model so you don't get pooling. Now we're going pure orange. Oh, burnt orange. Orange oxide, I think is what it's called. Just being real gentle on this next highlight. Try not to overdo it. That's tough for me. I always tend to overpaint stuff. Overwork it is what we say in watercolor, which I also do some watercolor painting. Hey, B-Bum. How you doing, buddy? How's your Friday going? I am still here painting away. I hope the visuals are getting better. I've been trying to get the right camera and get the right angle for this. It is really hard to do. Dreary Friday, hopefully just because of the weather and no other reason. It turned rainy here, which is actually kind of nice. It's been really warm this week, so it's kind of nice. Nice, good. The face camera probably not as good, but mostly just because of me. Ah, just kidding. Ah. All right, I'm gonna take like a super quick little break here while I look for another brush and you have a face camera. Yep, it's you can't see it. I'm like a vampire. All right, I'm gonna be back in just a minute. I'm gonna hit the little break button. I will be right back. All right, let's see if I can find a brush that won't be as unhappy as the one that I've been using. Actually, this might work pretty well. This old brush has seen better days. All right, there's a few options. That should work a little bit better. All right, we got some dark brown we need to do. Actually, that's the wrong color. Where is black brown? All right. And then light umber, and then probably tan flesh. So that'll work. Put mahogany back. We'll put the orange back. And see how that goes. As I've been working through this model, I keep finding little spots that I missed the first time through. And before I get to do some of the more fun parts, I'm going to make myself finish those up. Okay. So that brush is flat, which is useful, but for something else, let's see if this one will make a nice point. Yeah, that's better. Need a website, Mark? Make you a website. Trying to keep myself busy while I'm between daytime jobs here. Okay, that's the buckle. Oh, nice. Oh, Heard Guitars is yours. Sweet. No, don't be sorry. Things will work out as they work out, but you never know if you don't ask. Right, now I'm just trying to tell. I used a different highlight color. I do this to myself all the time. I get all excited, I use different colors, and then I go back and have to fix something, and I'm like, oh crap, what did I use for that? So I don't know if it was exactly this, but it looks really close. Yeah, that matches well enough. I'm happy with that. I can live with that. Okay, now, one of the next things we need to do is spiffy up this leather armor this guy's got. This, like, dragon scale looking stuff. So, the first question is whether this green is going to be bright enough. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. We're just going to go through and just kind of kiss the edges of all of these. I'm gonna be careful and not undo any of the other good work I've already done in this area. This is why you need a brush with a nice fine point. And magnifying lenses, because, man, these are tiny little details. Okay, I like it. So his armor's coming along. I could do his hair really quick. That'll be simple. The box art for him, he just has white hair. So I'm just going to use this Apothecary White on it. This is a Games Workshop product. One of their contrast paints, one of the easiest ways to paint white on the face of the universe. And then we'll let that settle and do a little bit of highlighting. It'll be done. And while that dries, we're gonna change out some of our colors on our palette. Let's see, actually, I think I can just make some space because I got mahogany on there already. Mahogany is a good start. What we're gonna do is I've got a couple of pieces that I want to look like red leather. So I'm gonna use some of this. We'll do a little bit of warm yellow as well. So we got some bold red. What is it called? Pyrrole? 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 You know, sometimes I don't English very well. All right, and so we want to do this bag front. Actually, I'm gonna do the whole thing and just do... It's got like some studs on the front. We'll do those gold, but I'm actually gonna do the whole bag in red. Change of plans. Okay, now we're just gonna start adding in some brighter red. Kind of gently. Hi, buddy. Okay, and now just a little bit of orangey red. Make a nice warm highlight. And I think that looks pretty good. We'll add some metallic pieces when we're done. He's actually got a bunch of metallic stuff around his waist, on his back, so we're gonna do a bunch of gold on him here before too long. Just fix this loose screw. He's got a screw loose. Sadly, this is not news to most of the world. Oh, yes. It's not the only red item he's got. He's also got this tie on his water bottle. I mean, I say water, but who knows? Could be mead, could be wine. What do orcs like to drink? Gonna be my base color for this thing anyway. Might as well just do it while I'm here. Alright, now I'm going to start bringing up the red. And now this is straight red. And now we'll warm that up. I think I'm actually going to do another piece as well. And just smooth that out a little bit. Okay, that's done. Okay, I think it is time to do the weapon. I've been kind of putting that off. And we'll do on the top of that all metal. So I think that's going to be the only piece that I consider to be wood, is that handle. Apparently my wife just made popcorn and it smells really good. A rude of her to give me the munchies. What you doing, kitten? Hi? What's going on? Yeah, you having a moment? Probably glaze that over with something to tie it all together. Hello. What are you doing? My kitten has come to say hi. I call her a kitten. She's actually a grumpy old lady cat. She's like, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. Alright, that should look okay. I'm not gonna lie, wood has always been one of the textures that kind of vexes me. Alright, we're gonna do the metal on his weapon, and we're gonna go with non-metallics. So we're gonna do a dark gray and a warm gray. And some bright neutral gray. And we'll just start off, I'm just going to base coat the whole thing. That's maybe a little extra work that I don't need to do, but it's fine. Alright, now we're going to start thinking about where's the light coming from. So I think the light's hitting these pieces. Okay, and then we'll mix a little of the two together. Hi, would Mom not let you in her office? Yeah, poor baby. Poor babies. Little cats. And just trying to be super gentle with this highlight color because it's easy to overdo it. Okay, water this down a bit. And then, since this is a weapon, just kind of do some jaggedy stuff along the blade. It's not perfect, but it never is. But it's a nice, like, quick and easy non-metallic metal effect. I might do a little bit of dark. Go. Find a couple spots here I don't like. I'll go fix those up. And just look for any obvious spots that I messed up that need to be fixed up a little bit. Like that one. There we go. I'm assuming whatever this is supposed to be like a metal handle. So that's what I'm gonna make it now. And a little bit of this bright gray, and then we'll go back in on all of that and just add a little bit of titanium white. All right, where's that white hiding? Highlight a couple of these little spots in here. Nope. And I'll tell you, the thing with acrylic paint is it can dry fast. Especially like the smaller the brush you use, the less thick the paint is, which means the faster the air can act on it. Which is really hard when you have these little tiny details that you want to take your time on. Especially something like that where it's the outside of the weapon, it's what you're going to see most often, right? You're not going to see this side as much. When you do, it's kind of hiding in shadow, but this one's like the public face, if you would. Okay, so we got weapon. We've got... It'll come along pretty well. I gotta do... his face still needs some work, his hair needs some work. In fact, actually, now that I've got the white out, let's do some of that work on his hair, because it really just needs a little bit. Luna Kit. I don't know if you can hear the cat crying in the background. She really wants into my wife's office. And it is the greatest injustice ever served that she cannot go in there when she wants. Alright, that didn't take a lot of work. That was just using the Apothecary White contrast paint, then a little bit of white highlights. The one thing you want to make sure of when you do paint something white like this, you really want to make sure that you have as little bit, you really want to leave the depths, the shadows. And in fact, actually, if I wanted to take it to the next level, I'd take some really thin, maybe a dark blue, maybe a really dark gray, and even do some lining on that, make it even deeper looking. Would be a good way to handle that. Okay, next, the thing I've been kind of avoiding, not that I'm really avoiding it, it's just I did a bunch of gold non-metallic metal in the last model, but it's time to finally get to the gold parts. So, let's get ourselves set up for that. We've got most of what we need is in the wet palette already. And I'm gonna start with this nice big one here. We're just gonna add a little bit of yellow to that mahogany brown and start bringing it up. Where it makes sense. Excuse me. And then while that dries, we're going to go back in with this mahogany and start base coating all of the other metal pieces that I need to do. There's a buckle here. And there's this piece. And these studs. And then there's these chain pieces. I'm not quite sure what these chains are doing for him, but he seems to be a big fan. He's got a bunch of them. So we'll start base coating those in. Really trying to make sure I'm just painting the links. Okay, let's bring this up a little bit more with some yellow. And we'll start doing the same with chain links. And really all I'm doing right now is just adding yellow to the mahogany brown. Just trying to shift it, color shift it from that brown color over to the yellow. It helps because they'll relate to each other really well because of the using the mahogany as the base. And also, if you've ever painted yellow One thing you've probably run into is sometimes it's hard to get good coverage out of yellow, and this is a good way to also help with that. And one thing I forgot to do, but we'll go fix it really quick, is just this end cap on his staff. All right. Man, I got that far, and then I found one I missed, and a white spot, too. That always happens. Easy enough to fix. Sorry, I bumped the mic. Now we're almost pure yellow. Trying to keep this light. Really want like the, oh, get that in the camera and get that so that you can see the texture that's being created there. Really looks like it's just some light shining off of it. And then I think we can go ahead and just start hitting this with some yellow too. I think it'll look fine. We went yellow into that one just a little early. And then for the studs on his belt, I'm going to need a really tiny brush, and I'm going to need my magnifying glass. And I squished it anyway. Nope. All right, he is pretty much there. Got a little bit of work to do on his face. That'll take me just a couple minutes. Let's see, what time are we at? I think we just hit 2 hours. Yeah, that's cool. We will. I'm gonna work on his face just a little bit more here. Let's see if we can get that fixed up. All right, so for his face, he's got some big old teeths, as the orcs do. I think we're just gonna go with some ivory, and then I think we're going to use a little bit of contrast paint. I think that'll actually look pretty darn good. Let's see if I'm right. I think I just did the wrong paint. All right, let's get that bottom teeths. I sure do hate painting some eyeballs. But I'm trying to get better at it. All right, so there's that. We just need something to make those teeth look better. Just gonna do some of the skeleton color that I used on the horns. And then just the slightest bit of red. I probably should have put a pink in there, but I decided to go for red. Okay, so this guy's functionally done. And what that means is I could finish right here, put him on the table. I obviously need to do the base. And it would be fine. You don't have to do any more. But I will, because that's just how I roll. Actually, he's not functionally done. I completely missed a couple of important little pieces. Never mind. I was getting ahead of myself. There's just some tiny little details that are going to drive me nuts, so I got to get them done. Where are they at? Where did that mahogany end up? There it is, right where it should be. These like rivets. So I'm gonna call them on his gauntlets here. And then I see a little spot of green I missed, because that always happens. I don't think I like that color of green. But I think we'll live with it and just put something over the top of it. Alright, so what he needs now is a little bit of shadow. Let's make him pop just a little bit. Got this dark green, which I don't think I've even opened yet. This is a Pro Aquarel 1-step. We'll give that a try. Because we've got some nice green shadow that we need. There's also a dark green brown, which I bet would look pretty good. I think this one is open, yes. And then some dark blue black. Start with the dark blue black. So we want to be real careful with this. The first place I want to put it is right under this hair. And then these eye sockets. And the goal here is to just add shadow where your brain thinks shadow should be. So just like around scabbards, wherever like two pieces of clothing, or like in the case of that belt, when it comes together. Right between the belt and the top of that needs a little bit. That just helps his head stick out a little bit more there. And then next to his hands. And like under the lip of this armor. Let's see. And sometimes what you'll find is this will actually cover up some of the sins of your earlier paint job. Places where you just weren't happy because you got over painted something. It's a good way to make that stuff just go away. Oh yeah, I see some really important ones there underneath that armor. Especially where that's really visible, adding that is going to help a lot. Sell the effect. And then actually, I'm going to add a little bit of this dark green, dark brown green. I'm going to put this between his fingers just to kind of make those a little bit pop out more. Okay. We're really, really close right now. I'm just kind of in the futzing stage here where there's always like one more little detail that you missed. Like 3 years later, you'll go back to it and be like, oh, I can't believe I missed that one little spot. Alrighty. So let's see, let's go to this. And you can see where we ended up. So we are... looking pretty good. The orc is orked. He's very orky. And so that puts us up to 4 of the 5 player characters are functionally done. I got a little bit more to do with this one, doing the base and stuff like that, but that's not too big of a deal. We'll get that done here in the next day or two. If I have time tomorrow, I don't have a show scheduled, but I will jump on tomorrow if I get a chance and start working on the last player character. I was really hoping to get all the characters done, so I could start working on all of the bad guys, which there's a lot more of them, so that'll take a little while, but I've had a goal to get this game painted for a long time, so it's kind of fun to get the opportunity to finally do that. Anyway, thanks everybody. I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate having you here, and I will, if you take a look, I do have a schedule. Oh, my head's all messed up from that headband. Such is life. So yeah, I've got a regular schedule going now. I am on at least 3 days a week, doing some co-working in the morning, and then in the afternoons I am painting. Don't forget to check out my Instagram. It's folkfirebrand.minis. And if you haven't already liked the channel here, make sure and hit that button so that you know when I go live. Thanks all for being here, and I will catch you next time.